Live your passion.
You can be anything you want. You can achieve it if you just believe. Take you to a place you can be yourself. Live your passion. Live your passion, yeah.
Pharmacist assistants work alongside licensed pharmacists to help prepare and process prescriptions to inpatients, healthcare providers, outpatients, and customers. Meet pharmacist assistant Isabella Gustavo, who has worked in this capacity at one of the capital's oldest pharmacies, Langerhans Pharmacy. This is her story.
You can be anything you want. You can achieve it if you just believe. Take you to a place you can be yourself. Live your passion. Live your passion, yeah.
Isabella Gustavo is the second eldest daughter of Angolan refugees who grew up at Rundu in Kavango East and attended school at Grootfontein in Otjozondjupa, where she matriculated at the Grootfontein High School. Growing up in a close-knit family, Bella, as her three siblings call her, excelled in mathematics and science.
My parents are Angolan, so seeing how people were living in my community, it's not a very rich community, it's a okay community. So people struggled, and you can see how their health was deteriorating, to say the least. So you look at that and you tell yourself, no, how can I help with this?
She has a very big interest in medicine. So I think that's one of, we also have a lot of doctors in our family, especially in Angola. My father's eldest brother also happened to study science as well. So yeah, we have a lot of doctors in the family, and she has the interest in medicine. So I guess that's why she went into that field.
It came as no surprise to her parents when Isabella applied for a Bachelor of Science degree at the University of Namibia. It was not to be, as financial constraints pushed her into abandoning her studies in 1996. Bella's science background played a part in her landing a job at a private medical practice until she learned of an apprenticeship opportunity at Langerhans Pharmacy to undergo in-service training as a pharmacist assistant.
I've been working here in this pharmacy for 15 years now. In what trainings? Product knowledge, I guess. We go out in new products. We do first aid trainings. I guess I just came in by chance because I was actually working at the doctor's office. And the previous owner of the place was looking for pharmacist assistants to train. Okay, threw my name in the ring, and he called me, and I came here, and I've been here for 15 years. You meet somebody today, they just kind of change how you see people, and you feel the satisfaction that I actually helped somebody today. Something simple as in, I had a headache or I had something growing on my toes, and you suggest something and they come back and they tell you, no, whatever you suggested, wow, it worked wonders. That feeling that you actually, you helped somebody. You want to do it again tomorrow and tomorrow. You want to keep coming back and, going home and you actually help one person today. It's nice. It's a good feeling.
Isabella's attention to detail and methodical approach make her an asset to her employer. Sound judgment and decision-making add to her reputation as a diligent and industrious employee who requires minimum supervision.
We interviewed a few people, and when Bella came along, we shortlisted her and we put her on a probation. We said, okay, let's bring her in for about a week because there were two possibilities. But after working with Bella for a week, it was clear. We could see, she was always friendly, she's diligent. And I think what's very important for a position as a pharmacist assistant is people need to be people's people. You need to be able to talk to people. And sometimes about difficult stuff, about medication, you need to be able to bring them into line if they may be diabetic and they're not actually taking their medication properly. You need to engage them and pull them in, you can't be too hard on them. You need to speak to women about contraception, about all kinds of things, STDs. And Bella does that well. She communicates well. She's been a fantastic employee. We've actually been working together for 13 years. And in this time, she's hardly ever sick. She's hardly ever sick. She looks after herself. She conducts herself well. She's friendly with the customers. And she's a real role model in our industry. One of the first in Namibia.
It's my turn to make copies of prescriptions today. So I was standing in the corner making copies of prescriptions. Those are the prescriptions we did on the previous day that we have to submit to the medical aid. So we have to submit proof of a prescription. So we attach prescriptions and scripts together. That's the one thing I did this morning. Wait for my customer, he gives me a prescription, type in the prescription, collect the medication, have the pharmacist check me, dispense the medication in the sense that explain to the patient what their doctor actually prescribed for them. Yes. There are some medication that the pharmacist assistant can dispense, and there's some that we can't dispense, so the pharmacist will dispense those. Get the prescription, read what's on the prescription, type in what's on the prescription. Before we actually send the claim through, say to the medical aid, if the person is on the medical aid, the pharmacist actually has to check what's on the prescription and what I wrote in the computer now. So what we can give to the patient is what the doctor wants his patient to be on. So they check that. I collect the stuff, collect the medication, and she checks that I actually collected everything that needs to be collected. Put it through to your medical aid. The medical aid says yes, no, tell you all that. I give you a medication.
Bella is a very nice person to be around. She's always friendly. She always has a smile on her face. So I think she makes our day always, gives us a smile as well. I've started now in January only, so I've only known her for a very short while, I mean, we as pharmacists, yes, we could do everything ourselves, of course, but you need a helping hand with quickly mixing a cream or packing the shelves or actually preparing scripts for us that we just say, yes, right, everything as well, it can go out. Here in Namibia, it's not that big of a thing already. Overseas, when you see hundreds of patients every day, you can't do everything yourself. You need the person to help you.
You can be anything you want. You can achieve it if you just believe. Take you to a place you can be your true self. Live your passion, yeah.
Isabella also excels on the customer service front. Coupled with her multilingual ability and excellent communication skills, her customer-first approach has made her favorite amongst the pharmacy's loyal clientele.
It's not just coming in, picking things off the shelf and giving to people. It's medicine. Medicine can be very dangerous. So people that come in, we have to know a little bit about you. You know, what's your history? What should you not and should you not take? You know, you have to be a little bit open with me and say that I've got allergies or something. Because just now I give you aspirin and you cannot take aspirin. That's very dangerous for you. So you have to be able to communicate, I guess. We had a gentleman come in. He had a cycling event earlier and he had a headache. He said he had a headache prior to the cycling event, so he took some paracetamol. And then the cycling event was 2 hours and he still felt the headache and he took 2 more paracetamol. And when he gets here, he's in a hurry, he doesn't really want to go to emergency. And he says, no, I've had a headache already since I woke up and I took 2 paracetamols earlier. That's all he said. And that's all you took? Yeah, I just took 2 paracetamols. And then we gave him more paracetamol. And he took 2 paracetamols, went on his way. But unfortunately, that was 2 paracetamols too much. The person goes back to the event. There they have emergency people on site. So he's still complaining of his headache. Everybody around him says, no, but he's been saying he's got a headache. So what they do is, paracetamol, we always assume it's the safest thing that you can take. So the paramedics will put you on a paracetamol drip. And that's paracetamol straight into your bloodstream. that's too much paracetamol. Taking the fact that he's already taken 6 paracetamol tablets. Now he's got a whole drip of paracetamol again. So he ended up in hospital.
It's 50-50, you know. It's about customer and the service provider. So customers need also to be friendly, and the service providers is obvious because customer is always right. You see, and you don't need to quarrel to the customer because the customer came for service. Yes, it's very important, but it comes from both sides. No, I love Langerhans because whenever you are here, you get everything what you want. Yeah, and that is just my place since 1993. So it's the farmers of my heart, and it's where I'm just getting whatever I want.
Shortages of medication. There's always, we're struggling at the moment, especially, I don't know, if because of the economy that's not going so well. There's a lot of shortage of medication, and because the economy as it is, our state facilities are not able to help people. So a lot of people end up at the private pharmacies and they can't really afford it. And at the end of the day, you really feel like you let these people down.
You can be anything you want. You can achieve it if you just believe. Take you to a place you can be your true self. Live your passion, yeah.
When away from the demands of work, Isabella finds sanctuary in the company of her sister, Eunice, with whom she has formed a close bond since childhood. They don't only appreciate her friendship and support, but trust her advice and guidance on the responsible application and use of medication and a healthy lifestyle.
We're actually brought up like twins because we have 2 years between the two of us. So it was awesome. It was awesome growing up with the older sister that could always take care of you, watch over you. Yeah. And we are very close.
So the 3 of us, my big brother, the 2 of us, always close. When we came to Windhoek, we lived in a complex, in a flat, the 3 of us. Everywhere, the 3 of us, we will go out because you live Grootfontein, it's a small community. They already instill this fear. Oh, you are going to the capital city, it's very dangerous there. So we came to Windhoek studying. We came to study. But unfortunately, the finances were not as, I guess, as my parents assumed it would be. So I was doing a degree in sciences. She was doing teaching, but she's done with her teaching. But she's not teaching. Family is very important to me. Family, it's instilled by my dad specifically because he calls every day. My father calls every day.
All of us.
And he makes sure he will speak to every single one of us. And when we first moved here, he made sure we are always together. So what he would do is call one and want to speak to everybody on that one phone to make sure you are all together at any given moment, you know.
So we normally call her if you need to find out something about a specific medicine that you got from the doctor or whatever. We call her and ask, so what is this? How does it work? And all that.
Do I need it?
Do I really need it? I am. I always believe that modern medicine, there's a positive side as well as a negative side to it. And if we sometimes don't take care of what we are putting into our body, we can permanently damage our body. So yeah, I always call her just to make sure, okay, what is this? What does it do? How is it good for me? Is it not good or whatever? Even if the doctor already told me, but I still I'm just used to calling her. She's the professional in the family, yes.
The medical professional.
Yeah.
Isabella Gustavo, a principled, diligent, and industrious servant leader. Her selfless commitment to her calling allows her to enrich the lives of everyone she comes in contact with. Her story teaches us that in serving others, the seeds you plant are more of value than the harvests you reap. She is living her dream. She is living her passion.
If you really look into yourself and this is what you want to do, you want to help, health-wise, then by all means, you try, go out there, do this. So much fun.
Live Your Passion is supported by the European Union.